Coming up on today's wrestling news, Saraya's mystery AEW partner has been revealed.
Got a major title change on AEW Dynamite.
AEW Dynamite has a new look and it's WWE.
And top stars are in AEW contract talks.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Phil Chambers.
And this is the news. So yes, something we've been speculating on for quite some time now. Saraya's mystery partner for next week's showdown with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. A lot of people seem to be suggesting that it was going to be money. Mercedes money, to be precise. The former Sasha Banks. But Phil, that's definitely not the case.
Definitely not.
You see, they were talking about it a lot on last night's Dynamite. There was even allusions to the former boss by Britt Baker. Britt Baker called herself the boss in an earlier promo. But then they sat down with Saraya, with Toni Storm, and with Paul Hikari Shida, who I'm fairly certain Saraya forgot the name of and just went, you. Before saying, anyway, bollocks to you, Shida. Toni Storm, you are my new partner. It is going to definitely be Toni Storm and Saraya versus Baker and Hayter next week on Dynamite. This is despite the fact that, as we reported yesterday, Steve Muehlhausen of DAZN confirmed it was going to be money on the 11th of January, tagging with Saraya, basically saying that AEW couldn't tease the former Sasha Banks while she was still under WWE contract. It's a load of bollocks, this first story, isn't it?
It's not great, is it? This is either some kind of weird Vince Russo-esque swerve that is completely unnecessary, or they've put themselves into this position where they've announced a mystery guest at the same time that a certain incredibly top star has just become available, and the internet's run rampant with speculation, and Tony Khan's gone, God damn it, I've done it again. Let's nip this in the bud. It's not good, is it?
No. It's probably not going to be Toni. I love Toni Storm. Yeah. And I think Toni Storm and Saraya as a tag team would be really entertaining to watch. Yeah. But
in terms of bringing in one of the top free agents that you could possibly imagine into your company, this doesn't feel like the way to do it. Yeah. This doesn't feel like the way to make money.
Well, I've got an idea for how they're going to present it next week. And Tony, feel free to take this, right? So, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter come out and they go, come on, Saraya. And Saraya comes out first, inexplicably not with her tag team partner.
Of course.
And then Toni Storm's music plays. Toni Storm doesn't come out. And then cameras, whoa, shaky cam like they used to do in WWE backstage. Toni Storm's been attacked backstage by quite clearly by Hikaru Shida because she's going to turn. It's quite obvious. And Saraya's like, oh no. And then Britt Baker, right, and Toni Storm's music is still playing whilst all this is going. Key thing to remember that.
Okay,
Britt Baker is going like, who's your new partner? Saraya's like, huh? She's like, who's your new partner? Huh? Who's your new partner? And she says, I'm sorry, Britt, I can't hear over all this music. And then, boom, the money comes out.
Time to make some money.
It's not going to be Toni Storm. Or if it is, they've presented this really weirdly.
It's all a bit weird.
Why not just keep teasing? The Britt Baker thing was perfect. Just leave it at that.
It was really simple. Just keep teasing it until she comes out, get a goddamn massive pop, and like completely reinvigorate your entire women's division by signing one person. It was really easy, this, really, wasn't it? Yeah. It's such a goddamn Banks. It's Mercedes goddamn money. It should have been so easy. I don't know why they're complicating it so much.
Yes, but it was a very eventful Dynamite last night, wasn't it?
It was indeed, because we have a brand new champion, not of the world, of the TNT variety. Darby Allin was obviously going up against Samoa Joe last night for the second time, after Samoa Joe basically killed him last time.
Yep.
And he tried to do pretty much the same thing again. It started off with Darby Allin just going absolutely nuts before the bell, like diving all over the goddamn place. But obviously, eventually, Samoa Joe got control of everything and just started kicking the absolute crap out of him, like he is wont to do. But it built up, it ended up being Code Red and then 2 coffin drops onto Samoa Joe for Darby Allin to get the hometown hero victory. One hell of a pop at the end when he finally won it. And Sting came in and there was confetti falling from the ring. And everyone's celebrating Darby Allin's second victory, or second championship for the TNT Championship. He's one of 3 people now to have won it more than once. Obviously Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara are the other 2, and now Darby Allin. And I think this is fantastic. I think Darby Allin's run was one of the best TNT runs they've had. I think the Samoa Joe Wardlow stuff was
weird.
It was.
It's the right thing to do
The
to take it
matches
off
were good,
Wardlow
yeah.
to put it onto Darby, but
But
poor Wardlow in all this.
They're not. Yeah, they've not been the two of the greatest reigns for that belt that they've ever had. So hopefully putting it back on Darby Allin gets it sort of back on track a little bit. I think.
Before Powerhouse Hobbs comes in
Yes.
and murders Darby Allin, probably. Happy.
Which I'm also fine with.
Yeah, happy for Darby Allin. I think Samoa Joe, when I initially was like, what? Why have they done that? Why have they pinned Powerhouse Hobbs and taken the title off Wardlow at the same time? I've still got concerns about what they're doing with Wardlow, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yep.
But Samoa Joe was great in the interim, and the whole King of TV stuff was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And
he's obviously still got the ROH belt
yeah.
as well, so they've not taken that off him.
And Darby Allin, TNT champion, doing mad stuff every week on TV's fine by me.
Exactly, yeah. And it seems like Samoa Joe has a whale of a time wrestling Darby
Yes.
Allin. Yeah,
Samoa Joe's
loves
really
it.
hit his stride with this TV title just stuff as well, I think.
Yeah.
I loved the whole just sort of him in a jacket being like, I'm just going to kill everyone.
Kill everybody. It's really good.
New year, new
Hello.
look, AEW. Obviously, it was teased quite a lot.
Let us know down in the comments what you think of this one.
We saw all the video promos with like the lights and the latest look. I don't think it was lasers, but in my mind, I was like, it's lasers.
Yeah.
And they showcased it last night. Right, it's quite WWE, which could be seen as a compliment or a bit of slagging it off, basically, because they've kept the whole "Light the Fuse, Bring the Boom." Thank goodness for that. All right, slightly remixed. The video, the opening video is similar to what you've seen already teased on social media, probably.
Yeah.
And the big stage has gotten rid of the entrance tunnels and, unsurprisingly, Cody Rhodes' elevator. It's now just a load of bloody screens. And, by the way, commentator's area looks awesome now. I really like that table with the stuff on it that MJF walked over to on last night's show. It's a load of screens, which is interesting. I think visually they can do a lot of fun stuff with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting. I joked about the SmackDown fist on Twitter. I don't know what I was expecting, backlash swinging. What were they? Scythes?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, at the end of the day, this has got to be something that will fit into all the arenas that they go around the country for.
Easily packable into a truck and put up again all over the goddamn world.
But it's a bit homogenized. Is that the word?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've fallen into a bit of a trap with this one. I personally wasn't a very huge fan of the entrance tunnels. I know some people really loved it.
Yeah, I quite like
the nostalgia
them.
value of it. I was never a huge fan of that aesthetic. But now they've gone a little bit too far the other way in that they've gone for WWE, but you're never going to beat WWE in terms of that style of production because they've been doing it for goddamn ever, and there's this huge machine that has just perfected it so much over the years. You're not going to beat that. So don't try and join that because you're just going to look like a slightly inferior version of that. You've got to do something else that sets you apart, and there isn't enough in here that sets you apart. Especially it being red and blue as well. Kind of just looks like they've taken Raw and SmackDown and smashed them together. It's like, oh, you could have definitely done something else with this. It looks nice, don't get me wrong. Looks fine, but it does look a little bit WWE light, and I think there's an issue there.
Yeah. Time will tell, I think, how I feel on this. Let us know. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section below, and I'll be chatting about it with the Dadleys on the Dynamite Review podcast. What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, a little bit later on today. Contract talks. That's what we've not talked about for ages.
Everyone loves contract talks. So two of AEW's toppest stars and executive vice presidents, the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
You remember those people?
WCW.
You might remember them from such programs as WCPW.
Yeah. We made them, I think.
We did make them, 100%. They're in contract talks. That's this story, basically. So it's coming from Fightful Select, I should mention. And it seems like the AEW are wanting them to stick around for what sources say as quite some time, obviously. Forever, and as long as humanly possible. Now, there's mixed signals, information out there about what exactly their contracts are at the minute. So there's things saying that they originally signed a 3-year contract, but it had a 2-year extension option on it, which Tony Khan then triggered and gave them a big pay rise at the same time. But then there's also talks, the Young Bucks said in Being Elite on YouTube that they initially signed a 4-year deal. So I think, as ever with AEW contract stuff, it's kind of all over the place, the kind of information that you get about this.
Yeah, and I'll swear I read recently about Omega sort of holding off on contract talks until these contract talks came around. So they're going to try and do it. It makes my brain hurt that they actually have to have contract talks, because I'm like, AEW is the elite.
Yeah. And they are all
I realised
executive vice presidents.
I probably should have learned from Cody Rhodes piecing out and going to WWE
true.
that anything could happen. But yeah, they're not going anywhere, are they?
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought so. I assume this is just...
And they've got the freedom
Bucks.
to go everywhere except WWE as well right
Yeah,
now.
indeed. I think AEW is growing, the Bucks are going to be getting more money, and Tony Khan's going to be wanting to keep them around for as long as goddamn possible.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like is how this is going to end up, I assume.
Yeah.
So good luck to the Bucks with your contract talks. Go get paid.
Yeah, and they are probably going to.
They are very much
like
going
you
to
say,
get paid, yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird that they actually have to have this conversation. It feels like just, ticking a terms of use box normally. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Another year,
right.
yeah, cool.
100%.
But who knows? Maybe they'll show up in the Rumble. They won't.
It is a business, after all.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, we want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Sofa King Eric.
Hello.
Say that very carefully. Eric writes, good morning, gents. Also, Happy New Year if that hasn't gone in stale. Of course not, Eric. Happy New Year to you
Happy
too.
New Year.
I just rewatched the WTF episode of South Park, and it cracks me up. For those unaware, it's the wrestling episode of South Park.
Not the one with King West on it.
No, do you appreciate the parody?
I
appreciate
appreciate every parody
Yeah.
on South Park, I have to say.
Yes.
Because they're just so goddamn good at it. But yeah, 100%. It's kind of perfect. It goes obviously into more of the dramedy aspects of wrestling
Yeah.
than the actual
It's fair, that's the
wrestling
best way of
aspect
putting it.
It's fair to say. But I think it's perfect. I think that's the kind of stuff I love in wrestling.
Just
the
watch over the
stupid
rocket
goddamn
launcher at one
stories.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely mad. But it's all about the stories, and I love it. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
Look, I'll not hear a bad word against South Park.
Yeah.
I went through that phase of like when I was probably the perfect age, like 14, 15,
Yeah.
13, 14,
Where it's
15.
Like, oh, it's kids in the cartoons and the swearing.
They're
isn't
just
it
Evan
funny?
and Jeff in.
Yeah.
Great. You kill Kenny, you bastard,
Yeah.
or whatever,
But then it evolved into
and then
so much more.
And then I think I sort of went away from it for a while and came back, and I was like, oh, this is incredibly insightful, like parodies and
thought-provoking,
yeah.
hitting like comedy. Yeah, it's good.
The Boogers song, that's all I'll say. I think maybe one of the greatest musical creations ever. I think it's a masterpiece.
Fair.
If you know, you know. Anyway, Xander O'Malley gives us our second question of the day. Hello from the States, lads. Howdy. Are you guys...
So not worth it.
No. Are you guys aware that AEW Battle of the Belts 5 is being recorded this week? If not, is this a sign of more bad AEW marketing? I'll be honest, despite the fact this is my job, until yesterday, I was unaware that Battle of the Belts is going down on Friday night. It's live, by the way. It's not being taped.
Yeah.
It's live immediately after Rampage. But, by God, has this really sort of been swept under the rug a little bit recently by AEW? Like, they
Yeah,
are
a little bit
promoting
weird.
it now, that Kip Sabian, Orange
Yeah.
Cassidy, etc., right? But it does feel a bit like it's gone from Battle of the Belts to, here, by the way, Battle of the Belts happening.
Yeah, I think it was a worthy experiment, I guess, but it should have probably stayed as an experiment, and they realised that maybe this doesn't work too well.
It's just
I really
baffling
don't
that
like it because it makes my Saturdays at work really hard. Because you've got to do ups and downs for Rampage and Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
It's just long, more work. God damn.
Yeah.
And has anything ever
No.
worthy happened on a Battle of the Belts show?
Yeah,
ever? Maybe the first one.
It felt like maybe after the first one, they always made it like, oh, we'll have the FTW championship being
and
defended.
now they've got so many goddamn belts, you can't do every belt on the show
No.
because there's way too many.
And you certainly-
Unless every belt is a 2-minute match.
And it just feels like, well, hang on, it's Battle of the Belts, yeah. So what big belt's going to be defended? Is the men's world title going to be defended? No.
Nah.
Women's? No. What
Yeah.
are we doing here, guys?
Doesn't work. Try something else. If you want to do big special episodes of Rampage, 100%, go
Or-
do it.
or just
But
do it
there's
with
other
big-
things you can do.
Do it with big titles. Just a thought.
There you go.
Like the TNT Championship is regularly defended on TV because it's the TV Championship.
Yeah.
So that doesn't feel as important if you put that on. If Battle of the Belts, if they said, right, Battle of the Belts, it's 3 matches, it's an hour, it's men's, women's, and men's tag titles. There you go.
Yeah.
That's an appointment viewing, especially because it's live. Like when it's taped, I sort of understand.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It's,
Maybe try something else. Get rid of the Battle Belts name. Like they do Fighter Fest and
Fix the
things. Winter is coming. They
Casino
do
Battle
special-
Royal as well. Just
Yeah.
make it. We've been talking about the Rumble obviously all week in the office, and just make it a knockoff Rumble.
Yeah, it's so
A
easy.
big roulette wheel. Well, just conveniently doesn't land. The number doesn't land. The ball doesn't land on the number more than once. And like Green Zero could be like the special surprise appearance.
Whatever.
There's a few things that...
It's easy.
Just a little bit of a tweak, Tony. People have said that Tony's not going to be sending me checks anymore because Hook was on the thumbnail. Check it out, by the way. It's a very good list of my 10 boring wrestlers of 2022 list. I will say, just a caveat here, I recorded that about a week or two ago before Hook was on telly like every week.
Yeah,
and in it I go like, he's not been on telly for
We
ages.
definitely should have put that video out earlier.
That's my bad, I apologise. Meowx gives us our final question of the day. Oh, it's more of a statement. I just liked it and I thought we could manifest, as Meowx said here. Manifesting it so it happens, can we get a What Culture crew podcast about their favourite tipples?
Ooh, hello.
What's your favourite
Well, this
tipple?
is your domain. Can we, Wilbur? Can we?
I mean, bollocks, I'll do it.
What's my favourite tipple? See, this is a tough question.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a favourite.
What do you drink most over Christmas?
Whiskey.
Whiskey?
I was on my whiskey. Ardmore. Good stuff.
Do you know what I drank? Do you know probably if you emptied my...
Ardbeg. That's the one.
I'm not a whiskey guy. I'm just pathetic like that. If you emptied the contents of my stomach after Christmas, you'd be, well, embarrassed. But you'd probably see that the thing I drank the most over Christmas was Baby Guinnesses.
Of course.
Which is Kahlua and Bailey's in a... I drank about 15 of them on New Year's Eve. We played Drinking Pop-Up Pirate with my friend's son's Pop-Up Pirate game.
Yep.
Highly recommend that.
Not with your friend's son.
No, I think he'd gone to bed. I don't think he had many Baby Guinnesses. But I also drank a hell of a lot of Baileys. I've fallen in love with Baileys.
Fair.
It's a basic bitch stuff, just Baileys in a glass.
Bailey's coffee.
But
Can't go wrong. Sorted.
I'll tell you what, Meowx, I'll put it to the rest of the guys you've mentioned on this, and we'll try and get something sorted because... bollocks to try January quite clearly in this office.
Shout out to Ardbeg whiskey, good stuff. Any peaty whiskies I like.
Yeah.
Beaumont, Lafrague, good stuff.
I love that.
Red wine, white wine.
That's it. New year, new us.
Beer,
we're not going to beg.
IPAs,
We're not going to
lovely-
beg for food.
pale ales.
Send us alcohol in the office instead.
I just love booze.
Yeah.
Basically.
And finally, today, you may have heard on the back and forth between Bryan Danielson and MJF last night, aside from them calling each other's mums stuff you should never say. That MJF said if Lance Storm and Dean Malenko had a baby, then it would be Bryan Danielson because it's got that little charisma, basically.
Yep.
Lance Storm had his say about this. Great
is
comeback. If Dean and I did have a kid, he'd be as good of a wrestler as Bryan Danielson. I'd have to have a kid with the Miz to produce MJF. Oh! Low-hanging fruit, but I liked it. It's good stuff. And I'm sure MJF won't clap back on Twitter about that.
Definitely not. That's not in his nature.
No,
He
exactly.
doesn't do that at all.
Just like those big British YouTube wrestling Chanels that he was shooting on the other day. I love you really, Max. We're best friends. It's fine.
Gotta hate those Chanels.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. And send us your wacky Friday Twitter questions at What Culture WWE. Watch there, follow both of us. Follow Phil Chambers at
Fill my chambers and follow Adam at.
Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But for now, my thanks to us back to call you Andy Murray. That was muscle memory right there. My thanks to Phil Chambers. Thank you for joining us. Money. And we will see you soon.
Make that money.